remain standing for filming signs for a number of our troops abroad and their families here at home. Thank you. We're going to have a couple presentations if the council would like to join me on the dais. Our first one's going to be Chris Brandel, owns Brandel Restaurant, and Sherry. Sherry owns Paint Place on Main Street. And you want to just tell us what you guys are doing tonight?
Well, what we're doing is we launched off our cork, fork, and canvas, and we took all the money. It was a $50 donation, and we're giving it to the Belmar Women's Club for their scholarship fund.
How much is it?
$12.50. Sherry's going to talk a little bit about exactly how this all came about.
This is my baby. I've been wanting to do this for a while, and I approached Chris, and he took me on. And what it is, we have the last Monday of every month, we do fork, cork, and canvas. You come in, you have your meal, you bring your own bottle, and we do a project. This project happens to be a beach scene, bringing Belmar back. And the next one will be a platter for the holidays, and it was a lot of fun, very good feedback.
Yeah, it was awesome.
And yeah, I hope you guys join us the next time.
There we go.
I want to say thank you on behalf of the Women's Club. The scholarship fund in our education department is probably one of the best things that we do. And in June, we give the awards out at our meeting, and I'm going to invite you to come.
Awesome.
All right?
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank you
very
very
much.
much.
The next presentation we have is for our Employee of the Month. He just started in Belmar this past summer. I'm just kidding. Come on up, Bob Poff. Bob has been working for Belmar for 30 years. He started Bob started when he was 6 years old. That's really embarrassing. Bob's boss started working at Belmar in 1984, doing housing and code enforcement. As a special officer, specialized in code enforcement, Bob's job is not always glamorous, enforcing borough ordinances. Now, I can tell you I've done ride-alongs with Bob Poff and Pat McMahon at the same time. Yeah. And they're quite an experience, some things I can't share with you tonight. But I will tell you that one of the things that Pat McMahon would tell people if they got loud and they got a noise ticket, that the following morning, him and Poff would show up. And he never really elaborated to what a POF was. So this is what the POF was. Bob spearheaded during the storm the restoration of power to residential homes. Bob coordinated with JCP&L, DCA inspectors, and homeowner contractors through an arduous process of repair, installation of meters, and getting power turned back on. If you remember, we were without power for 10, 14 days. Bob spearheaded the borough's response to boarding homes that were out of compliance with codes. In 2012, just prior to the storm, he facilitated the closure of an extremely problematic property on 14th Avenue. If you live by there, you know exactly what we're talking about. Bob works with the best interests of Belmar and the quality of life for the Belmar residents. He does so with passion and dedication. That's why he is our October Employee of the Month. So Bob would like to say a few words to your community that you serve so well. And this is what we got for him. We got Belmar bucks where he can spend $100 in Belmar. Also a certificate of lunch with me. Not that exciting. And also entitled to a bonus day off, good for the month of October 2013.
Wow.
And he got some stickers.
Thank you. First of all, thank you to the council. Thank you. I appreciate everything to the mayor. Colleen, April, you tricked me. I thought I was coming here to talk about something totally different. But, thank you. Everybody. I've been here for 30 years. I've been trying to do the best I can. Trying to improve everybody's quality of life as myself and every person here that has been here through how many years you've been here. You and your husband, we've always tried to climb those hurdles and get over it and take care of what had to be done. Sometimes it's not to everybody's best happiness but we did what we could do legally, but I think the town is a much better place than it was back in the 80s when I started. You know, and thank you very much.
Whatever we couldn't do legally. All right, back to work. And of course, we'll have Bob's picture up on Route 35, completely embarrassing for the entire month of October. All right, next is going to be a proclamation. You may have noticed that we painted a pink line down the middle of Main Street by Canal Plaza because this is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. I think you'll even see the NFL takes this up as well, and you'll see NFL players wearing pink gloves and shoes and things like that. So we've asked Councilwoman Nicolay to read this proclamation.
Borough of Belmar, New Jersey, proclamation by the Mayor and Council designating the month of October in each year as Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Whereas National Breast Cancer Awareness Month, NBCAM, educates women about the importance of early detection for breast cancer. Since NBCAM's inception, mammography has doubled and breast cancer death rates have declined. Still, many women do not utilize mammography at regular intervals. Whereas in recognition of the fact that mammography is the best available method of detecting breast changes that may be cancer, long before physical symptoms can be seen or felt, and that breast cancer deaths could decline further if all women aged 40 and older receive mammograms at regular intervals. Whereas October 2013 marks the 29th anniversary of National Breast Cancer Awareness Month, which is dedicated to increasing awareness of breast cancer issues, especially the importance of early detection. And now, therefore, be it resolved, the Mayor and Council of the Borough of Belmar, County of Monmouth, State of New Jersey, do hereby proclaim October as National Breast Cancer Awareness Month. All women and their families in the Borough of Belmar, County of Monmouth, and State of New Jersey are urged to get the facts about mammography and breast cancer detection.
Thank you, Councilor. Next is our workshop. We actually have nothing on for workshop discussion, unless there's anything any member of the council would like to talk about. No? Okay. Next, we'll go to petitions. Any petitions from the Mayor and Council? None this time. All right, no petitions. Next are reports of the council. Councilman Brian Vergello, would you like to start us off?
I'll be short. Last Saturday, I was real happy to attend the Fred Foss fundraiser for his 2 young children. It was a great turnout. All his DPW fellow workers, they looked like a family up there as they posed for their photograph with Fred. Everyone was there. The firemen were there, the police were there, the administration, the women's in the clerical office, court department. It was a great Belmar showing. Plus, there were so many people from Belmar there showing their support for Fred Foss and his 2 children. But the biggest surprise to me was I knew how sick Fred was. He showed up. I mean, I can't imagine the pain it was for him to get out of bed and come to that fundraiser. So it had to be so important to him. So it was just a tremendous evening of support for one of our fellow employees. Second thing I want to talk about is I understand that on Saturday, October 26th, we have a Touch the Truck event. Wow, I look great to my 2 grandsons. But a word of warning, the last event the Martirano boys went to in August for Touch the Truck, my 18-month-old grandson found the keys that were hidden, gave them to the 3-year-old, who put it in the ignition and started the engine. Their mother, Megan, never ran so far since she was in high school. So the Touch the Truck event is going to be fantastic, especially all the little boys in the whole area. They're going to come out of nowhere just to touch the truck. That's my report.
Thank you. Council President Dyke.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I want to thank all who contributed to making the Mayor's Wellness Campaign's 6th annual health fair a success, especially my partner on the committee, Christine Stoner, and George Comatas from the DPW. Approximately 100 people attended. I know that's about right because we gave out flyers of what we had on the floor. So I made 120 flyers, and so I have a knowledge of how many people attended. A special thanks to all the agencies and health professionals who participated, including local organizations such as the Belmar Women's Club and the Belmar First Aid. On October 24th, which is a Thursday, the ADA Committee of Belmar is sponsoring a special program here in the community room from 7 to 9. Topics for discussion will be siblings of individuals with special needs, trusts, wills, and estates involving people with special needs. Hillary Freeman, a freehold attorney, and a representative from Mid-Atlantic Resource Center will be the presenters at the workshop. Also, the ADA, in collaboration with Belmar's Recreation Department, is hosting a program for young children with special needs, beginning Wednesday, November 6th, from 4 to 4:45 here in the community room. This will be a musical program taught by music specialist Gloria Fowler of Wall Township. For more information, contact Ray Claudio, Recreation Director for Belmar. The Special Needs Registry, created by the County of Monmouth, is designed to assist emergency responders locate and evacuate those who might find it difficult to help themselves during an emergency situation. Emergency responders require assistance in locating and helping people when there is a need for evacuation. There is a form to fill out for this purpose to be mailed to the Office of Emergency Management in Freehold. I have placed an order for these forms to be mailed to the borough. I hope to receive them and place them at the library and here at Borough Hall for the convenience of the residents. On October 23rd, the borough will be hosting a luncheon for seniors, and the presenters will be the agency from Total Hearing Care. They will also conduct free hearing screenings for those seniors in attendance. The event will be held here at the community center. This month is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, as you can see. As a survivor of the disease, I encourage all women to go for mammograms. I thank Mike Campbell for painting the line pink at 9th and Main, and also for putting up our breast cancer flag. Speak to your physicians, ladies, because this is an important x-ray. I was diagnosed with breast cancer in 2000 and received both chemotherapy and radiation, and that was many years ago, so I'm very, very grateful for my good health. Also, one of our residents, Brendan Reed, wrote an excellent letter to the editor in the Asbury Park Press about businesses coming into Belmar. So I did some investigating and learned from our borough clerk, April Claudio, that since January of this year, this is an amazing number, January 2013, 97 homes were purchased here in Belmar. And in addition, 7 new homes were built and sold. This is testimony to the confidence people have in our community, the governing body, as people usually investigate everything about the community before they buy. So I'm very, very proud of those numbers. And please, ladies, make sure you get your mammograms. You're going to be hearing a lot about breast cancer. It's going to be all over the place. And just take heed. I have a cousin who hasn't had a mammography since 1980, knowing full well what I went through, and she's a blood relative, and sometimes there's a tie there. So don't be afraid of getting the mammogram. It's worth your time and effort, so please do so. That's all I have right now, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Council President. Councilman Dean?
Thank you, Mayor. A couple things to go over here. First off, as I said last week, we got our ethics investigations back. I just want to put these things to bed, go over them real quick. Run down the story was last year we had an ordinance on back houses, turning the back houses or turning summer rentals into year-round, and they had an age restriction on them. We had wanted to remove the age restriction. I did vote on it. It then came up at another meeting that an anonymous letter came in, and that anonymous letter said that I should not have voted because I have a back house, even though it was year-round. Council strongly advised I abstain. Caught off guard, I did abstain. The next week, when it came up again, after reading it, I said, there's no way I'm in conflict here. Again, strongly advised, I abstain. I abstained, do not vote. I did end up voting. They did, council did say he was blocking my vote. And the way I looked at it was, if I choose to run for re-election, it could always be brought up that Councilman Bean voted on something, it was pointed out he had one, and he got caught, it was going to benefit him. So I did file with the ethics board, claiming that they're trying to smear my record, and they basically came back. I fought against the mayor and council, and it came back and says it was determined that use of information for the public record against candidates in the future elections is speculative. And I think they're right. I cannot, for sure, I don't know what's in either one of their hearts. I don't know if they were trying to smear me or just going off a anonymous letter. So basically, they were dismissed against the mayor and council. One quick note, it does say in here that please also note that the local finance board has no jurisdiction to determine if a municipal attorney may direct a municipal clerk to strike a council person's vote. So they're basically putting the football, saying they don't know. And also, I got a letter because they had also fought against me for the same reason. I want to read through this quickly. One note is that in the complaint, it says that Borough Council had previously independently determined that you have a prohibitive involvement regarding the ordinance. Basically, Council had made a decision that I was in conflict. It did come back, and they said I was not in conflict because I was warranted by virtue of your position as elected councilman in the borough to participate in discussion and votes, and also that it does not appear that you derived a benefit from the subject ordinance, not also shared by a larger community of property owners in the Belmar. In other words, I was correct. I was allowed to vote on it. But we still have a problem because my vote got blocked. They directed my vote to be blocked, but I was legally allowed to vote on it. So I want to ask council, I mean, what authority did you have to block my vote?
Well, it's my legal opinion that you had a conflict, that the ordinance, was going to enhance you and your property. I didn't do it any out of maliciousness, and I think that the opinion of the local finance, not the local finance, but the DCA, indicated that my job is also to protect you. And so one of the reasons why I did that is because I wanted to ensure that the public understands that you all are not voting to enhance your position nor to better any of your wallets or property. So it wasn't done out of maliciousness. It was strictly out of done for the purpose. That's my job. My job is to protect you. So please note that I didn't take that position lightly. I took that position because I thought it was in the best position of you. In your interest as an individual, not to be declared in any conflict whatsoever. And if I believe, if I understand correctly, the ordinance, if I remember correctly, the ordinance passed 4-0. So it was based on that opinion that I asked that the vote be stricken.
I don't really remember you asking, I don't remember you telling, but I get my authority from the Belmar Code Book. It tells me what I'm allowed to do, what I'm allowed to vote on. Is it in the Belmar Code Book that you're allowed to protect us and strike votes?
Not only is it in your the code, it's also in the DC regulation. It's also in my ethics and also the state ethics. I believe that you're required to take ethics courses as a council person. Are you not?
I have no idea. Not that I'm aware of.
I know that I, as an appointed position in the state government, take it. Not only do I serve in official capacity of the state, but I also serve with the Office of Attorney Ethics as chairman of the Ethics Committee, as a special master of the Ethics Committee. I'm giving a seminar on ethics next month. So please note that it was an abundance of caution, not only to protect you, but also to preserve the integrity of every vote that you do, and also to make sure that the public understands you're not voting to enhance anything that may benefit you?
Well, it says in here that basically you're allowed to ask the borough clerk to strike my vote, but it's actually up to the borough clerk to do it. And my vote did get struck when I was legally allowed to vote, so what do we do?
I can always ask DCA on that, but I do think that the opinion basically rejected your argument that you did not, rejected the argument about the complaint against me. Your complaint against me was dismissed in its entirety.
Absolutely, I'm talking about you're against mine and why my vote was
And
struck.
if you had questions on that, you can certainly follow up with DCA on that opinion, but
I would like this to come back up, and I want my vote to count on this, please. I don't know how we do it, I don't know what we
You
can
know what,
suggest.
I'll certainly reach out for DCA on that and.
Wait a minute, my vote was struck when I was legally allowed to vote on this. I don't think there's a discussion on this.
The ordinance is already in effect, so I don't know.
Change the minutes?
No, you know what we'll do is I'll call DCA and I'll reach out to them.
I don't think that's good enough.
Okay, well,
I want to request, we change the minutes, if I can make a motion to bring the minutes back up. If it gets voted down, it gets voted down. But I want my vote to count on this, because I was legally allowed to vote on this with the DCA. And I'll leave it at that. Next thing. The Sandy Inspection Program. Colleen, do you know what that is?
Hurricane Sandy inspection program?
Sandy Inspection Program by Monmouth County. You were in the meeting with them, you should know what it was.
Been on a lot of meetings.
Okay, basically everybody, this inspection program, the county reached out to all the towns and said, we are willing to come down at the beginning of the year and do a reassess on your property of the ones that got damaged. So basically they reached out, they got a list together, and they came down and they reassessed certain properties that were damaged in the storm so that their property values would be lowered. A couple $100 saved. When they fixed their property back up, it would, their property value would go back up. And we had a bunch of mailers go out this year saying, hey, your property value is back to normal. And everybody was wondering what this was, and that's where I started digging. But what's confusing me, Colleen, is that out of the list, we only had 218 properties that the town deemed worthy of a reassessment. Do you know why such a low number?
I'd have to confer with the tax assessor.
Well, that's funny because I talked to him today and he said that you, Robin, and him had a meeting already, and that's the number that you came up with.
We've had
I don't care.
meetings over the last year.
I don't care. Do you know why that number is? Okay. So long story short, of course she doesn't know the number. Matt Clark from Monmouth County, who I was talking to, said, hey Jim, there's a significant, that's his word, a significant change from the county list to the Belmar, to the list that Belmar sent back. So as the county wanted to reevaluate all these properties in town, Belmar came back and said, no, we don't want you to do it. And you know what, I have the list here of what properties were reevaluated, and there's about 3 around Silver Lake. 2 in Inlet Terrace, all of Inlet Terrace went under. So I can't understand why we would tell the county we don't want reevaluations on these properties. Do you know?
I think it would be irresponsible to oversimplify what was a very complex process.
I had hours of phone calls today. Please explain.
I was trying to answer your question.
Go ahead.
It would be irresponsible to try to oversimplify what was a very complex process, and I would be irresponsible to comment on it without my file.
Okay. I contacted Manasquan. I said, hey, how'd you guys do it? I said, did you advertise? Nobody knew about this. How many people got flooded? You could have, the county would have came to your house, reevaluated you, dropped your property, property value, saving you hundreds of dollars, maybe thousands, until you got it fixed. And Belmar didn't tell a soul. I called Manasquan. I said, hey, how did you guys do this? I said, did you advertise it? And they told me, no. We did the entire town. They had the county come down, they reevaluate the entire town to make sure they didn't miss anybody, and yet Belmar actually reduces the number that the county's trying to reevaluate. Mayor, is this how we take care of our own? We don't allow reevaluations through the county?
If I remember, this program started, the governor brought it into effect sometime at the beginning of the year. And it was for a 9-month process. So the idea was it reduced what the assessed value was, therefore foregoing those taxes. Everyone's paying the same taxes. It just pushed them off for 9 months. That 9-month deadline came to an end, and at that time, our tax assessor sent out letters to everyone and informed them how much they owed by November 1st. But it was pretty well known publicly, and people just had to request, if I remember
They
correctly.
could request it, or we went out and canvassed.
Okay, so
Yeah,
Madam,
we had a lot of people out in this town, both doing electric work. We had a lot of folks doing, we were in charge of the permits, but you had to get permits for certain work, and all that was getting approved as well. So, we had a lot of people out. Why we had a lower number, I don't know. We can look into it.
no, Dr. No, let me tell you why, Mayor.
Well, let me ask you a question.
Go ahead.
But I think it's important to remember, or to note that it's not as if you saved your taxes. They were simply deferred for that period of time. I can tell you, I live in my terrace. My house was flooded. I did not apply for this.
I didn't apply for my house either, it was flooded,
Yeah.
and I knew about it, it was common
If I could
sense.
offer, some of the texture that happened here in Belmar was that Belmar residents responded so quickly in the wake of the disaster that by the time the county tax program was rolling out, a lot of the properties we visited, they had already made their repairs. And they had already returned to their pre-storm living conditions.
Valuations.
That was January 1st when this rolled out. And you know what? I have the list from the county, and then I have the list that you guys sent back. You guys actually significantly reduced the number.
Well, how did the county come up with their list?
Through Ed Mulaney. He started the initial list up to them, and then the county gave it back to you guys, and then you guys cut that list.
Well,
and sent it back.
Ed is the tax assessor.
Assessor, yeah.
He doesn't approve permits, he doesn't look at any completed work.
All right, so I'll read the email.
So but just real fast, so the county came up with a list without ever coming to Belmar?
No, this is from Ed Mulaney. After reviewing the aerial photos of storm damage, I believe that the following list depict the areas which were flooded. And then he has a whole bunch of properties. And then you guys came back, and then the county put together their Excel sheet, sent it to Ed, and in a meeting with Ed, Rob, and Colleen, that list got cut to 218. Actually, it was probably less than that because some of these people actually volunteered for their own inspection.
I have to correct you, I believe the 218 you're referring to are the ones that actually got assessment reductions, not who we went with.
Jim, real fast, I guess the question is, what's the point?
The point is, by you guys, I don't understand why you would rob these people of this little bit of money that they would have got by having their property reassessed by the county for free.
Well, again, I'm based on the fact that I was in the flooded area. I don't think I robbed myself. Oh, and it's not as if, and it's important to remember, no one saved money. It simply deferred the taxes that were owed for that time period.
So in other words, you're admitting you did it, but don't worry that it wasn't good enough to worry about anyways.
I don't know what you say, but we're admitting we did.
You just said, well, either way, nobody saved money.
Well, that's true. No one saved money. Whether you paid your taxes the first quarter, second, third quarter, or you just waited for the fourth. You know, at the end of the day, your assessed value went back to what it was pre-Sandy. Unless, of course, you're still working on your house. I'm wrong. Then those folks are still in the same situation. But to say that people lost out and didn't save money is inaccurate.
Okay, I mean, I have lots on here where the houses are still not repaired. They would still be at a lower rate, their taxable rate right now, if their property would have been added in with your list. And it wasn't. I got the list.
Well, remember, they could always ask.
I know that, but the thing about this, Manasquan did the entire town. Belmar cut the list to a lower number. I'll leave it at that. It's just, I find it disgusting. I do.
I did, and
I got the numbers, I'll email them out to Excel sheets and all the numbers if they need them. Last point, pavilions, a point of discussion at Board of Commissioners meeting. Basically, Avon has, it says their boardwalk has been raised to a base flood level elevation of 16 feet. Therefore, they are not in a V zone. Is our boardwalk out of the V zone?
No, we're focusing on these.
It is. Avon's is out, and they're gonna get 90% for their pavilions. So we built ours.
No, the boardwalk and pavilions are two different things.
No, no, did you read the article? Let me read it to you. It says, the reverse decision came after the board supplied FEMA with additional information regarding the buildings, including that recent construction of the boardwalk, where both structures were located, has been raised to a base flood elevation of 16 feet, 2 feet higher than the now required 14 feet. Basically saying that because they built theirs high, they're out of the V zone and their pavilions are going to be covered. And I really don't know. Can this apply to us?
Well, it's two different things. The pavilions that we're going to be rebuilding will be out of the V zone. The boardwalk itself is not out of the V zone.
Okay, so if these pavilions are out of the V zone, then they're going to be covered 90% by FEMA.
Will you want to explain the difference between?
Sure, and to all due respect, Mayor, they're actually still in the V zone, but we are building to V zone standards.
I'm sorry, V zone standards.
Yes, and so, I really can't comment on another town's project worksheet. I'm not in those conversations. It wouldn't be appropriate for me to. What I can tell you is that what we've said consistently, we're pursuing every possible federal dollar for these buildings. We're going to build them to 2013 standards. They're going to be built to withstand storms in the V zone. We've been in an active dialogue with FEMA, and that dialogue is ongoing. And I have every hope that we are going to bring as much money back to the Belmar as possible.
So Avon's pavilion looked like from this article, 90% covered, and you're telling me that, don't worry, they're going to be built up to code.
That's
Well,
an incredible oversimplification.
But that's what it is.
But how you choose to do it.
Okay, that's all I have there. Thank you.
You're welcome. Councilwoman Lee.
Tough act to follow, and I mean act. Belmar Rec, the Belmar Halloween Parade, Sunday, October 27th. Registration in gym from 11 till noon. Parade will start at noon. Belmar Elementary School, the October 7th through the 11th is the week of respect. Throughout the entire week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, they're going to focus on different aspects of respect. They'll be doing acknowledging support staff in school. They'll be talking about bullying. They'll be talking about anti-drug activities, Green and Gold Day to support the school. And on Friday will be the actual Respect Day. They're going to be doing a Zumba session with all the children outside with details to follow. The DPW, they've removed trailers, beach lockers, removed 20 signs from the beach. They picked up 60 office cubicles from Fort Dix at no charge. They finished the steps and the grading at the library. They poured the concrete at the Arts Council, which is great, so they're going to continue with their rebuilding over there. And they set up and broke down for beer on the pier, which I don't know if anybody attended, but I heard that was a huge success. 3 sewer issues were fixed. There was a new storm pipe on North Boulevard placed in, and they sheetrocked the Historical Society. Belmar Arts. Work has started on the staging area. As I just said, the DPW helped pour the concrete, and their new sign is up. They've got a new show, Masquerade, coming up. Starting Saturday from 5 to 7. It's a very different and interesting show. Hope everyone can go to attend. They're also going to have a separate one-man show in the smaller gallery. The artist is Andy Dennis of Seabird. It's called Swans, 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 and it's paintings of swans that he's painted over the years. He is selling his art pieces and donating the full amount to the Belmar Arts Council. So we hope everyone can turn out there, see the artwork, and make some purchases if possible. Show runs from October 5th through November 8th. Thank you, Claire, for the health fair. I thought it was excellent. It was a great representation of the different organizations. My children didn't like it because they both got a flu shot. They were screaming, not happy. As you know, Breast Cancer Awareness Month, both Claire and I are survivors and can't stress enough about getting mammographies. Mine would never have been detected unless I got my annual. I do know some men that have breast cancer, so I know mammographies are mostly for women, but certainly if you're a male and you do feel like you have a lump or problem, please get it checked. And then touch a truck. I'm not going to be worried about the keys, Brian, because my 4-year-old knows how to hotwire. So where there's a will, there's a way. And that's my report.
Thank you, Councilor.
You're welcome.
I want to echo what Councilman McGovern mentioned about the fundraiser for Fred Foss that was held at DJ's. I've said it repeatedly, I'm a broken record, but there's really no business in town that does as much for this community as DJ's does. Really terrific guys. And I can tell you that they presented his family with a check that night for the money they had raised up till then, but they actually raised even more than that, for $25,000, which is a tremendous amount of money and a tremendous amount of support and caring shown for him, raising a $20 increase. You know, talking with the owners of DJ's, I know they told our director, Mike Campbell, that they'll host this fundraiser every year for his children. You know, they're young and they're going to go to college someday, and it's going to get more and more expensive. So that's what these Fred's main concern was. Also, you know, I think that Councilwoman or Council President Dyke makes a good point about the residents. You know, we've had a tremendous amount of improvement in our business area. 8th and Main, you know, what's going to happen at the pier. A lot of new businesses coming into town. You know, a lot of really positive progress in our business district, and it's easy to see because you drive down Main Street. What isn't as evident is the residential, and the fact that there were 97 homes purchased, and this is after Sandy, so think about that. 97 homes purchased, 7 new, for people that want to move into a community that was devastated. I think it speaks volumes of the type of community that we are, that people want to come here and be a part of what we have. One nice update: the Main Street Bridge will not be closed. So the painting project has been canceled. If you remember, that bridge has been closed at least once a year, and I know it drove business owners crazy on Main Street. It seemed like it was closed once a year for the last couple of years. So this year, hopefully, the bridge will stay open the entire time, or stay, will be working, operating the entire time. And also just a few updates on our projects. The pavilion buildings, they're out to bid. The bids are due back October 11th. We received a good amount of bidders on that. Also the Silver Lake Electrical and Fountains, those are due back October 11th. And then the water infrastructure project that we've spoken about, they can go in and they can clean the lines out and use cement and reline them. They're also due back on October 11th. So that's going to be a big day. And this is all, you know, important work and public projects that have to get done here in Belmar. And lastly, tonight, we'll be accepting a bid and awarding it to a construction company that's going to make improvements to the well. It's got to be rehabilitated, our water well. That's in the amount of $343,000. That'll go against that bond that we had out, I think, for $5 million bond. So you're going to see a lot of work kicking in over the next few months. You know, before stuff gets started. So that's all for me. Next, can I have approval of the minutes?
I move that the minutes of the regular meeting held on September 18th, 2013 be approved as recorded, and that a copy thereof be posted on the borough's website.
Second.
Councilman Dyke?
Yes.
Councilman Bowman?
I guess I abstain.
Councilman Dean?
Yes.
Councilman Nicholas?
Yes.
Mayor Dyer?
I wasn't here for the full meeting, so should I abstain as well?
Yes.
I will abstain. Next is our public session on a resolution calendar. Anyone have any comments, questions on the resolution calendar, just raise your hand, wait to be called on, come up and ask your question or make your comment. Yes, Dave. Could you try and move the microphone to the-
Oh, sure, it's my job.
David Schnack, 302 C Street. You'll excuse me if I bring this with me. Scratchy throat tonight.
Okay.
This is about the payment of bills. First I want to ask about your target marketing. And, ever since we got this new website, and I've complained about this quite a lot over the past year, that we lost all our archives on the meetings and campaign contributions and such. And I see now that on the information about the meetings, that that you gave up, that it just says for meetings earlier than 2012, please email April. So now you can't look through the meetings. Like with the old website that went back to like 2005, you could just scroll through the different meetings and look at it. Now, the only meetings that goes back to 2012, if you want to just look to see what was going on before then, you have to actually email April with a specific meeting date. You don't even know what dates the meetings were on, or what date, what meeting, something that you're interested in might have even been in. And the campaign contributions too only goes back to 2012. Now, you told me that that information was not lost.
No, it's not.
So you have access to it, but we don't. This is not right.
Well, I think you do have access to it, you just said through email in April, but you're right.
No,
We
no,
should-
no, no,
we
that's
should have
not
that on our
acceptable.
website. You're right, we should have it on our website. And it should have been done already. You're right.
I'm going to stay on that. I want that fixed, please.
Okay.
The campaign contributions especially, you can't just go back to last year. That has to go back several years. And it's unbalanced that you have information. You can get to that anytime you want, and we have to email April with a specific date, or it's not like, we don't even know what to be even looking for.
Well, I just to be clear, I don't think any member of the council has it on their laptop. I think if anyone wanted any information, they'd have to do the same thing. But you're right, it should be on the website nonetheless. You're right.
Thank you. The other thing on the payment of bills list is, I've noticed this, we have a legal firm representing us, Hoagland, Longo, and Moran. Usually there's only a few cases on there, but this particular payment of bills list is 13 different cases that they're handling for us. And what strikes me about this is that I remember back when Pringle was mayor, almost every single meeting there was an executive session. And April, you remember the little speech she used to give when the council would go into executive session, that it's stuff that, involving legal matters or personnel matters, or stuff that's not, to be released to the public just yet, but that the information will be made available to the public when it's no longer. You still probably have that speech handy, right? Yeah, I haven't made it for a few years, right? Then Claire Bryan, you remember, every single meeting nearly had an executive session. So what I would like to know is the lawsuits didn't go away, and the personnel problems didn't go away. That stuff is still part of running the town. So where's this stuff being discussed? You have to keep detailed minutes of an executive session. You kept minutes of executive sessions under Pringle, right? And those are Oprah requestable. They can have certain sensitive information redacted for a while, not permanently, unless it's involving like an employee's health or something like that. But all that information is supposed to be eventually available to the public, and we're not even having executive sessions. So my question is, with all these lawsuits and the personnel issues and stuff, with whom do you discuss this, if not with the rest of the council? Do you care that it's not being discussed, that let me ask you this, has Mayor Doherty ever come to you to talk about any of these lawsuits? There's 13 just on this month's payment of bills list. Who are you discussing this with?
April, could you clarify what this was for?
Those bills are for tax appeals.
Okay,
That's for Carl.
all 13?
Carl Kent is our tax appeal attorney.
One of them is Belmar Pavilions.
I think you wrote a memo from Michael.
Yeah, Carl Kim represented the county, Westboro, 1996, 97, so I needed the files.
From Hoagland, Longo, and Moran? Oh, I see, okay. Okay, but there are, there's no question there are lawsuits because we have the 3 actions that Mr. Pringle filed in the last few months. And I presume when the borough is sued, that's something that's discussed by the entire council. Isn't that true? Like Councilwoman Dyke McGovern, under Ken Pringle, this stuff was discussed in executive sessions, right? He told you what was going on with the lawsuits, and you gave your opinions. And
If I may, we haven't had a need for executive session because these lawsuits were just filed. I know Mr. Northbury is here in the office, in the audience this evening. And maybe we'll need that. Maybe he'll come back and give us an update. I'm not quite sure what purpose.
You're asking me to believe that there's an amazing coincidence that under Pringle, and I went to all the meetings from like 2006 on, I was there. Almost nearly every single meeting had an executive session, and the minutes are Oprah requestable. That information is supposed to be available to the public. Are you saying as soon as Mayor Doherty took over that we got no more lawsuits, no more issues with personnel?
I don't think so, but two things are happening. A is the increase in transparency because there is no need for executive session. B, any discussions are occurring that the 13 lawsuits that you're referring to are all tax bills except with excuse me, the one bill from Carl Kem. Mr. Northgrave is there, and I don't know if he's here for the need for executive session or not, or if there's questions or not, I don't know.
No, when I ran for assembly, it's not just Belmar, when I ran for assembly in 2007, the 30th district, I attended city council meetings in almost every town in the 30th district. Spring Lake, Manasquan, Brielle, Bradley Beach, Avon, Howell, almost nearly every town in the 30th legislative district. And they were having executive sessions. And I even went back through the minutes from these towns recently, and in the minutes, they say that the council broke away for executive session.
I've only been representing the borough now for a year and a half now. And the first lawsuits that have been filed, other than the tax appeals, which are numerous because of Hurricane Sandy, are the 3 lawsuits that were filed on Friday of last week or Thursday of last week.
What about the one filed in June by Mayor Pringle over redevelopment?
Well, it's one of the 3 that you're referencing.
Yeah, and did you ever have an executive session where that was discussed?
We didn't need one.
You didn't need one?
There's no point in having an executive session unless you need one.
No. All discussions on this stuff is supposed to be eventually
Is this still on the
made
resolution
public.
calendar? Or
Yeah, well, okay. That's true. We are getting a little off the resolution calendar pertaining to these laws. But I just see that
I think we should have executive sessions. When you become the mayor someday, you can have executive sessions like that.
Yeah, well, we're going to have more transparency, not more opaqueness.
Well, executive sessions are closed sessions, so I don't know how it's transparent.
But the minutes are Oprah requestable after it's no longer sensitive. That's a very important point.
Well, we'd rather have a camera here so everyone knows exactly what.
Yeah, but executive session. Okay, thank you.
Oh,
thank you.
Get your vodka. Seeing no one else,
Well, Mayor Doherty? I had my
I'm
hand up.
sorry, my fault.
And I apologize, but I may be out of line here before I come to the mic.
On the resolution calendar.
Yeah, but I just checked the resolution calendar and I don't see 2013, 17 or 14 listed. Is that part of the resolution calendar? I don't see them anywhere on the night schedule.
Back. Back.
Oh my goodness. I apologize. Yeah, I do actually have one question.
Come on.
Thank you very much.
Well, come on down.
Mike Seebeck, 110 2nd Avenue. Mayor and Council, good evening, beautiful day today. In the paper, I read about the Beer on the Pier event sponsored by the town, and I remember reading at the tail end of the article, it said proceeds to go to the Sandy Relief Fund. What is the Sandy Relief Fund?
Well, that's a fund we established days after Sandy, when people wanted to contribute financially to help other people in town. We still have families that are in need. We have a waiting list. So we ask anyone and everyone to contribute. They said they would contribute. I don't know if they have yet, I don't know if they will. They're still total.
Right, on the payment bills, in fact, I saw there's 3 payments at the tail end, I think 5,000, 2,000, 6,000.
Those are grants to families.
77, 80 client numbers to various. One is actually payable to the borough of Belmar, is that?
For their taxes.
For their taxes? So the borough is actually paying the taxes for this
And we have for.
benefactor? Okay. The other thing is that's on the payment of bills, okay? And that's it. I thank you very much.
You're welcome. All right, seeing no other public comment, I'll make a motion to close the public portion of our resolution calendar.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Next, I will offer a move for adoption, a resolution authorizing payment of bill lists, not the wires.
No.
Not wires. So I need a second.
Second.
Councilman Banky?
Yes.
Councilman McGovern?
Yes.
Councilman Dean?
Abstain.
Councilman Nicolay?
Yes.
Mayor Gurke?
Yes. And the next one, I will recuse myself.
Do we have a motion to approve the resolution authorizing payment of bill list for the wire transfers?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second?
Councilman Banky?
Yes.
Councilman McGovern?
Yes.
Councilman Dean?
Just for the record, we're voting on approving money that we actually wire transferred 9 months ago. We actually gave them the money already. That was signed, that was